Good afternoon, folks. I'm here to show you how to do some cleaning. Although we all know how to clean, Dawn feels that they have a system that makes it efficient, especially if you're going to be a licensee. And you can be a male to do this job as well as being a female. So here we are in a kitchen, which happens to be in a commercial building, because commercial or domestic kitchens are very much the same, and we use the same techniques to clean them. You might be wondering why I'm standing here with a bucket of cleaning products. Well, you may arrive at a place like this and walk in, open under the sink to get out the cleaning products, and lo and behold, ain't nothing there. So rather than be embarrassed about not being able to do the job, we carry a basket of basic products with us. In this basket I've got microfiber cloths, yellow one, pink and blue, so we can assign them to various jobs during the various things during the job. With these cloths you can basically clean a whole house without using toxic materials. We use environmental products for that reason, because our signature is for environmental, beautiful smelling products that do a great, fantastic job. So what's the first thing you do when you arrive in a kitchen? Well, first of all, you have a look around. Bit of a mess, so we're going to clean up a bit first before we actually start cleaning. So the first thing I'm going to do is clean the cups off the table, put them over on the sink. Now I'm going to spray and wipe the bench top or kitchen bench at this stage, and I'm going to use an antibacterial general purpose spray and wipe. By the way, have you noticed how wide I've got the cloth? It's not like this, because screwed up like that you can only do a little area at the time. Open it right up, you do a much bigger area, so it's more effective and quicker. So we're going to give it a light spray, put our bucket on the ground out of the way, and wipe the table down. Another thing you might notice is that I'm doing it in a fairly methodical way. I'm not going up and down and all over the place. That means I'm not going to miss any area. I've picked up the crumbs in my cloth, across to the rubbish bin. I could have just brushed them on the floor because I'm going to vacuum anyway, but I've chosen to put them in the rubbish bin. The next thing, we're going to move to the sink here. I'm going to wash up these dishes, so I'm going to put some water in them, in the sink. By the way, chucks, ugh, terrible. I leave germs, they don't really clean properly, so I throw them out. These are much better. Alright, water in the sink, bit of dishwashing liquid, and I'm now going to put the cups and that in the sink, leave them to soak a little bit while I do some other things. Into the bin. Now we're going to start giving the kitchen a general clean, and we normally start from top and work to the bottom. So I'll get my general purpose spray, which again is that bactericide, so it will kill germs as well. Start with doing the front of the cupboards up high. Paying particular attention around the door handles, because that's where most of the fingerprints catch. With these products, they dry fairly quickly, so it leaves no streaking. because of the products we use, you don't need a lot of them to spray on or use because they're very concentrated and very effective. Now you notice I'm going from side to side. You could go up and down if you want to, just as long as you do it in a methodical way. To me, make sure you don't miss anything, otherwise if you do it like this, scrunched up, you think you've done it all, but in actual fact you haven't, you've missed spots. So open your cloth up and give it a good wipe. Alright, we've done the kitchen bench cupboards. Now we're going to do what's called the splashback or the tiled area. Give that a wipe down. Again, got the cloth opened up and just nice long wipes. Pull out the toaster, go in behind it, push it back. Always walk, or I always work back to the sink so that the sink's the last thing that we do. A couple of things to go away in the fridge. Now I'm going to surprise myself. I'm going to have a look in the microwave because we normally will clean inside the microwave as well as the outside. Get down and have a look. Oh my God. How often do people use a microwave and not look up and clean the top of the microwave? Again, I'm using this general purpose spray. And I'm going to get down and get dirty, so to speak. No, I'm not microwaving my head, I'm just getting in to see how I'm going with the cleaning. If the plate's not too dirty, then look, just a spray and wipe. If it is very dirty, into the sink for a wash. Now I'm just going to give the door on the outside of the microwave a spray and a wipe. If you remove something, put it back when you're finished so that when the owner comes home, the place might be clean, but things can be all over the place and that's a bit annoying. So we have a little saying, if you move it, return it, switch it on, switch it off type of thing so that you don't forget. But I'm going to give the appliances a bit of a clean now. And in a sense, there's a bit of psychology in cleaning. Why, you ask? Well, especially if the woman of the house comes home and she walks into the kitchen and all the appliances are nice and shiny and clean, it looks much better to her and she feels the place has been cleaned, rather than walking in and finding little bits and pieces that, you know, they're not shining. So you start to think, well, has the cleaner been around today? Put out the toaster, wipe the bench and put it back. You notice I'm working from top to bottom. The next thing, apart from that section of the kitchen bench up there, I do the fronts of these cupboards. Again, paying attention to around the door handles and maybe a quick look on the inside to see if there's been any drips run down the inside of the cupboard. Again, because it's the kitchen, it doesn't take long to do. Again, just checking the inside of the kitchen cupboards. While I'm here under the sink, I might just check to see what it's like under here. There's some rubbish we need to put out. It's pretty clean under here, but if it had water stains or something, a quick spray and wipe to make it look a lot better. Okay, maybe I might just wash these dishes now then I can do the glasses as well and clean up that section of bench. So here we go. Into the rubbish bin. My cloth is still quite dry, but I'm just going to turn it, I was using this side, I'm just going to turn it inside out and continue to use this cloth. The last little bit of kitchen bench top. Now you might have just said, why didn't you shift that out instead of going around it? So I actually will move the coffee maker out. It's good to see you're on the ball and asking questions of me. Okay, back. I'm just going to give this a little wipe. Just so it looks a bit better. Last thing on the kitchen bench and cupboards is the drawers. A quick check, because sometimes you miss the leading edge of the bench. So I'm just going to run along and give that a wipe down. Now, if this was in a house, there would be an oven and there's a fridge here, so we normally check the outside surface of the appliances for fingerprints and just give them a quick spray and wipe, especially around where hands go to open doors. Last thing is look at the rubbish here, so get the rubbish bin, because we'll take the rubbish out and look, hasn't been cleaned for a while, so you might say, why clean the inside of a rubbish bin lid? But it's just part of what we do to make things look good. And of course, while I've got the water in the sink, it's no big problem just to quickly do that. Again, I'm using my microfiber cloth. Empty the rubbish out. Ready to take down to the rubbish outside. Put a new bin liner in, if we can find one. Aha! We're lucky. Okay. I could just put that on, just leave it loose like that. Or a little trick is you just get a corner of the rubbish bin liner and give it a little twirl and then tuck it underneath, and it makes it sit nice and snug in the container. Okay, so I can have the choice, I can wash and dry those dishes, or I can just leave the tea towel neatly over the top. We'll leave it like that today, and I'm going to clean out the sink, and then the kitchen's just about done, apart from the floors. Drain it all. Again, because this kitchen sink's not very dirty, probably a spray with this general purpose spray and a wipe with a microfiber cloth will be sufficient to clean it up to the required standard. Again, polished taps, it doesn't take long to do it, but it leaves a much better impression. A little tip, if around the taps are very dirty, the base of them, good old toothbrush, a little bit of a spray and a scrub around the base to get away any built up grime. The same could be done with the sink outlet. Toothbrush, a little scrub, then a wipe dry. Our equipment back in our cleaning basket. We're ready to go. On to the next task. If there's several tea towels here, we would normally fold it into 3, place it on the rack. Finished. Before I go and do the floors, did anyone notice whether I did something I shouldn't have done, or I've missed something I should have done? This is just to see whether you were taking notice of what we were talking about. I left the rubbish that I took out of the rubbish bin on the table that I'd cleaned. Now what do you think might have been on the bottom of the bag out of the rubbish bin? You're right, germs. So that was a no-no. I hope you noticed that and made a note of it. Now I'm going to spray and wipe where I had that rubbish. Was there anything else somebody picked up on that I didn't do that I should have done? Think about the rubbish bin. I cleaned the top of the rubbish bin. I put a clean bin liner in the rubbish bin. But did I clean the outside of the rubbish bin? Let's have a look. Wow, what do you think? I think we should spray and wipe that, don't you? Because it's no use putting a clean liner in if the outside of the bin is dirty. So again, I'm using our general purpose antibactericide, the spray, and note I'm still using this microfiber cloth, and I'll just get another section of it to wipe down the rubbish bin. Now, doesn't that look much better? I'm sure when the person comes home and sees a nice clean bin, they'll be much happier. Okay, I know one other thing I should have done. I wonder if anyone's picked it up. I did say we clean the outside of appliances, that we clean the fridge doors and that, but if you've got access to the top of the fridge, normally it collects dust or bits and pieces. So if you're tall enough, a bit of a spray and a wipe. You'll be amazed at the things that your clients will notice if you don't do them. You'll find if you do things that they don't expect you to do, they'll be pleasantly surprised. And that's what Data Wife Dawn is all about. Doing those little extra things that makes coming home to a person's house a pleasure after we've been there. Now I think we can go on and vacuum the floors, and maybe too we should just check the chairs to see if they've got any crumbs of it on them sorry, before we vacuum, because we can just sweep them off the floor. You'll notice that in this case, because it's in a commercial area, we have a commercial backpack, but the principles of vacuuming are the same whether you've got a commercial backpack on your back or whether you just got a pull along domestic one. I'll just tighten this up. If this is tight, it takes the weight off the shoulders. How often when you see someone vacuuming, they're bent over like this, pushing hard, not good for the back. If you're going to be doing this day in, day out, you need to have good posture, and good posture is standing up straight, right, back fairly straight, and just pushing the rod of the vacuum cleaner along. It's going to vacuum just as well as if you're going down like this, and you're not going to eventually get the back pain. Next thing, when you're vacuuming, don't vacuum all over the place. It doesn't bring on a good job. What I'm going to do is switch the vacuum cleaner on. Hold a minute. All right. And we vacuum again in a systematic way, up and down. Making sure we get right into the edges. In fact, there's nothing stopping you from taking the head off, running the nozzle along the edges to pick up any crumbs that the head doesn't do. So easy, I could do it all day. Pull the chairs out. Again, methodically cover the ground. Always put things back as you found them after you vacuumed the place. Well, there you are. We're all done and dusted. Oh, that's a pun, isn't it? Done and dusted. The vacuum cleaner's done its job. I've cleaned the kitchen. Hopefully you can see the difference and it looks nice and sparkling. Just imagine if you're walking in the door into this kitchen, you'd go, wow, this looks clean. And that's what we like our clients to feel. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch us give a few little hints on how to clean today.